The LEGO castle theme is amazing for many different reasons, but one of the best things it has to offer is a great variety of factions to army build or to create mocks with. We have a seemingly endless number of figures to choose from, and these characters can be combined to create original factions, which only adds to the dilemma of picking which army should I build or invest on. The average LEGO consumer can't afford to army build everything. Something that I like to do is collect at least 3 or 4 figures from the different factions to use for mocks or to display. I have tried to put together at least 3 cool figures from the different themes. For some of these I have quite a few knights that will go along with them. And for others, this is pretty much all that I've got. But I'm not trying to army build them all. For some factions, I'm playing the patience game and building them slowly. And for the rest, I'm happy with just having a cool little squad of knights to fulfill my collector's itch. For each faction, I have picked a few figures to upgrade. This is a work in progress, so not all the trios are quite finished yet. But most of them are starting to look quite complete, and I don't think there's a lot more that I can do to improve them. I also added some other custom factions that I have put together. I'm sure that a lot of you are going to spot them right away. The best thing about the different figures is that these can be combined with others that have something in common. It could be by theme, or as I prefer to do so, by color. Then we can use them to put together armies that blend seamlessly together. This is a great way to make use of the different figures that would have been stored in a box otherwise. Here I have some Shadow Knights, also known as the Scorpion Knights. The figures came from the Knights Kingdom theme that came out around 2004. I grew up buying this theme, which is why I have quite a few of these guys. I also have some Red Dragon Knights from the 2013 Castle theme. These knights are newer and have way more detail, not to mention prints on the back as well. But the truth is that these two uniforms look amazing together, which is why I have used them to assemble my evil army composed of these two factions. Some of the soldiers here have upgrades, but I feel like it wasn't enough, so I decided to add some other custom characters that I thought will fit right in with this army. Like I mentioned before, to me personally, as long as the colors of the figures match, I don't mind if they have different insignias. At the end of the day, those little details get lost when we're looking at the army as a whole. Also, I have to say that the custom figures help enrich the final result. But from all these characters, the Red Dragons are still my favorite, and they take the spotlight of the show. Moving on to the second faction, I have to show my Orc army, again. And yes, I know these are actually trolls from the Castle Fantasy era, arguably the best era ever made. But I'm collecting these to put together a Horde army. These orcs are made with the brown plastic that cracks when you look at it, so don't stare too hard through the screen. The brittle material makes these guys really hard to find, so I'm really happy with this little squad that I have. Just like I did with the last army, I added a few other figures that will complement it. This time I'm using the orcs and the minotaurs from the CMF series, and a Ninjago figure that seemed appropriate to add as a troll. This is the second army and it's also leaning on the evil side. But this one is visually less evil and more unique, so I'm interested in knowing which one do you like better. Time to move on to the other army. This time I'm bringing out a faction that seems to be a common favorite among the community. The Dwarfs are simply fantastic. The ones that are customized ended up looking way better than they did in my head, and now I even like them more than the original ones, that came with the thick bearded pieces. And that has to say something because I absolutely love those dwarfs. Naturally, to complement this army, I added the Crown Knights, which were the same colors and uniform as these were actually ally factions on the LEGO theme. I love that the shields match, yet they represent each faction with their own insignia. I try to give them the same type of armors and helmets as well, making it so that it would look like they got their equipment from the same place. I mentioned uniqueness when I was showcasing the Horde, but this army takes the cake on that category. The figures look fantastic together, but there are a lot of characters here that really stand out from what I have on my collection. And as I was recording, I found another knight, so I added it just to have a final look at all the figures that I have together. And now we're going to move on to the last army. I came to find out by watching YouTube videos that people are not huge fans of this faction, which I'm very happy to hear, because it explains why these knights are cheap to get compared to others. And also these were found on the most recent castle theme. Personally, I absolutely love these guys. In my opinion, these have the best insignia design out of all the official factions, but regardless, this is my most complete and uniform army, not to mention that it's the most equipped as well. Ideally, I would love to have all my armies looking like this one. But even with these guys, I still have a few things that I have to take care of. Things like having weapons and armors for all of them. But I'll be working on this project little by little. And well, these are the 4 armies that I have put the most effort into for my medieval collection. My clone army still blows this out of the park when we speak about numbers. But the castle theme really opens up the doors to get creative with the characters, and as you can see, I have been enjoying that quite a bit. The truth is that we don't need to have 50 figures from each faction to make something cool. Like I have mentioned before, it's all about getting creative and putting together something that looks great, even if it's a small army, or a squad, or even just a duo. I would love to know what do you think about army building and which are your favorite factions. Feel free to write it down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, liking and subscribing helps a ton with a small channel like mine. But on that note, this is all I have for you today. I'm Beyond Lego. Peace out.